All right, cue Alex again.
Maybe we'll do better this time.
Hello and welcome to the 3 takes of stupid. I don't know what you said there. I don't know what you said, and you threw me right off.
Cue.
Hello and welcome. Fuck, I was laughing
Great
there.
stuff. We have a
Hello
great
and
time.
welcome to the 3 takes of
Shut up,
stupidity
James!
podcast. Shut the fuck up! Oh my god. Hello and welcome. We're into it. Do your own intros, lazy listeners.
Just amping you up.
Thank you for listening to the podcast. We really appreciate it. Cue. Hello and welcome to the 3 takes of stupidity podcast. Now, we're deep inside those January blues, so it's time to blow them away like an influencer in a tent. This
I don't understand. Fine.
I don't understand it either.
We're trying to be film influencers. Come on.
This trilogy has been thrust upon us by valued listener Toby, and this trilogy is titled Ancient History, which we will explain in just a second. We're starting this one with The Warriors. Again, we'll explain in a second. Please welcome to the gang, James Robbins, head of HR.
I had something I was going to say and I wasn't on my right page. Can you dig it? There you go.
Chandler Monk,
Hello.
general attorney. We'll explain that one in a second. And I, of course, am head of catering, Alex Clinton.
Can you dig it? Oh, I stole it. I stole your
No.
flow.
You're gonna have to fucking delete James's
No.
bit, because I had that written down for fucking hours.
That's funny. So did I.
I thought you were gonna go with that it's time to come out and play.
And play. Nah.
No, because...
No.
No. So, Alex, we're back. We're back with a film. I hope you enjoyed our catch-up episode. I know you really care about our personal lives. But we are back. So, there was a little bit of controversy with this film that we realised I realised while watching the film. So, a lovely listener said they wanted us to do The Warriors. Chandler led us to believe that they also suggested that we do a series based upon mythology, so ancient Greek, Norse, Egypt, the stuff that Gaelics were doing, all of that stuff. Anything you want, King Arthur, you name it. It's honestly a great series for somewhere down the line. This film is based upon an ancient Greek story that's real, that's true, isn't myth, no mythology at all. So let's just go with the working title, Ancient History. We'll see how that goes for the next episode. We'll see what we can do. But yeah, so that was a fun realisation today, having to rework the entire series. But I hope you enjoy it. Anyway, boys, other than that bombshell, you been watching anything good? Done anything nice? Seen anything pretty?
That was a very, very long and boring explanation. But anyway, I forgot to mention on the last podcast that I'd actually watched Wake Up Dead Man, the Knives Out third, essentially.
I haven't watched it yet. I'm really excited.
I will warn you, James, that it is very long.
Oh.
And this film, you can sort of feel like each film has to set up and lots of exposition in the first half an hour, 40 minutes. The first two films, I don't think you really feel it. This one, you really kind of do. And it does feel a bit boring to get into it. It is enjoyable once you are in it. But overall, enjoyable film. However, I think Glass Onion is the best out of the three. The other thing that I went and did this week is me and my partner went to go see the Friends, the musical parody show. It's on tour right now. We went to go see it in Wimbledon. Overall, definitely, it is my kind of thing, 100%. However, it was not enjoyable. It was kind of terrible, if I'm honest.
Oh.
It was written. I feel like it was written by people who have never actually watched an episode of Friends and have only literally were like, right, let's do a Friends musical parody and then just research every like the most famous quotable things from the show, and then just how can we crowbar those references into songs and a vague plot. And it was kind of shit. It had one clever joke in it. One clever joke, and that was it.
You're telling me that a Friends stage show is nostalgia bait? Can't believe
it's
it.
It's not even nostalgia bait. It's just shit.
Was it starring all 5 of our favourite New Yorkers?
Yeah, one was unfortunately dead. I was crying in the back about it.
You can't have this. Oh my god.
It wasn't very good. I was actually kind of annoyed that it wasn't as good, because I think if someone who wrote it, who was actually like a Friends fan, can actually make it quite an enjoyable thing. However, it wasn't. The only clever joke I thought was in the whole show, was they made a song based around the Cell Block Tango about their failed relationships. So I thought that was quite a funny, smart joke based around Friends and musicals, but the rest of it was terrible.
I don't think you can ever have a Friends spin-off, a Friends reboot, a Friends anything, because I just don't
Not
think
now.
There's many.
Dead.
No, but like even with new cast, the cast made the show at a certain point. Yes, one of them is
Sorry.
not alive.
My favourite. And it's my favourite one. Anyway, what have you been doing?
just quick one. Is it official or unofficial?
It's
material?
definitely an unofficial.
It's definitely unofficial.
No,
Okay.
It's got to be licensed at the bare minimum.
I
It has to be
don't know.
licensed to exist.
They actually make a joke of the fact they use any of like the Phoebe songs in the show. So that makes me think it's definitely unlicensed and unofficial.
They would have licensed Friends, but I
Yeah.
guess the songs are slightly separate in some weird way.
Maybe. I don't know.
The songs are probably on Spotify and they're making money off them, and that's probably why.
Alex, what have you been up to?
I went to Italy this week, which was lovely. But that's not it's not what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is I'll keep it to about a minute, because it's very unlike us what I've watched, which is the film Zone of Interest. It did really well at award ceremonies a couple of years back. It's a really interesting film about the family living at the Auschwitz death camp and the commandant running. It's hard hitting stuff. There's no getting round what it is, but it's a phenomenal telling of how. It's a phenomenal telling visually and in terms of sound design about how this family live in this weird existence where they're living next to horror, but their life is just a normal life. There's lots of beautiful tracking shots of this stunning garden and this beautiful room in a house where in the background all you can just see is like barracks. It's a phenomenal film. It was on Channel 4 a couple of nights ago, so I imagine it will still be on their streaming service. Everyone should watch it. Anyway, James, bring the mood back.
Wait. Before James comes up, there's two things I want to say to that. One is we do serious films like that on the podcast, because remember we did a Real Pain last year.
That is true. But this is directly. This is no.
Shut up about Mulholland Drive. How dare you compare Mulholland
Drive to the fucking Holocaust?
No, God. Serious films.
It's like being sat with fucking Shay Given in here.
Didn't compare it to the
I can't just on football. I know we mentioned it quite a lot in the last episode, but oh my god, I saw Jay Given's apology and then went, "What the fuck is he apologizing about?" And then I read what he said. I was like, "What the actual fuck?"
Trying to clarify for people what he actually said.
He said, I'll have to get it up. Hang on.
I will tell you. He called. He called a football team's performance in a match a holocaust of a performance. I genuinely think he doesn't know what it means, and someone said it, and someone told him it's a very, very bad thing, and it's just been in his head to.
That's so funny. I can't believe he said that. And anyway, the other thing
What was
I
it with
wanted to say to
goalkeepers in
that.
the fucking Holocaust?
Brilliant.
It's the second one.
The other thing I wanted to say to that is I also watched like a World War II film. It's called Nuremberg, which is out on Sky Cinema, and like Remy Malek plays a psychiatrist and Russell Crowe plays Hermann Goering, and it's about their Nuremberg trials essentially after the war. That is quite a good streamlined telling, I think, of evil essentially and the Nuremberg trials. I think it misses the mark on a few things. However, it's still a good watch to get like a good streamlined version of how, why, and who they put on trial essentially.
When you say it misses the mark on a few things, were you laughing at too many of Herman's jokes? And at the end of it, were you like, "Oh no, oh no, he's gonna die"? No, come on, we've had fun here. Come on.
Yeah, sure, kind of. Anyway, James, as Alex said, bring the mood back up, please.
Oh God.
Yeah,
okay, I'll try.
Bring us back to life.
Oh God. Okay, I'll try. Let me do it. I'll start with the lowest stuff I've watched. Just to chuck in the first anime check of the year. Watching a couple of those. Watching something called Sentenced to be a Hero, and we're going to keep the mood low here. It's about a guy who was framed as a criminal, and then in this world they are sentenced to be knights, but these knights are heroes. But the heroes are known criminals, and when they die, they keep being brought back to life until they are psychos and have lost all sense of self. So really cheery, and the whole world's being obliterated by basically a zombie thing. Really fun.
Again, I think you've brought us up anyway from the Holocaust and war criminals to this. I think we're in an upward trajectory. Yeah.
What else am I watching? The Fallout episode 6, season 2, brilliant. Love how they're adding in like kind of the morality choice side of things that you get so much in the game, where you might be forced into situations and you have to make a choice. That's extremely Fallout in the games, and I won't spoil it, but the main character, Lucy, played by Ella Purnell, is basically forced into a moral decision that she would rather not make and doesn't believe in, which was it was just a brilliant scene, and it was very stressful, and you knew the only way out was for her to go against what she believes in. One thing I want to ask you guys is, when you were, I don't know, a kid, a young lad, who is like your first childhood crush on TV or film?
Easy. Kelly Kapowski from Saved by the Bell. Or the Pink
brilliant
Power Ranger.
choice. Fantastic top tier choices. I can't disagree with you. Alex is disgusted.
The fucking
podcast,
Power
Alex.
Ranger. What the fuck?
The Pink Power Ranger from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Yeah, man. She was nice.
What?
Yeah.
You just like pink humanoids? Is that what?
They're people.
Oh, look,
the outfit. They're not
female-shaped.
robots. They're not robots. The helmet comes off. It's not fucking Master Chief.
No, I'm like, I Master Chief. What's her name? Pink Power Ranger.
Cortana.
Kimberly Hart. I didn't know it was Cart, but Kimberly from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Amy Jo Johnson, that's the actress.
Two excellent choices. Alex.
And Kelly Kapowski is
Yeah, Kelly Kapowski can't disagree.
Tiffany Thiessen?
Yeah,
Thiessen?
Tiffany Amber Thiessen. That's Saved by the Bell Colleges.
Ah, nice.
Chef's kiss. Not for the plot.
Anyway, why?
Alex?
Alex, go on, what were your crushes quickly? Because we've been rambling on for quite a while already.
No, what's your
I'm just
childhood
racking my
crushes?
brain. I think maybe Britney Spears.
Yeah.
Fair.
Before
Maybe.
bald or post bald?
Or post bald. I like that Phil
Nice.
Mitchell. Shine.
These are three very basic choices, to be fair. James, why are you asking this random question?
So one of mine is making a comeback right now, and that is Hilary Duff. Good old Lizzie McGuire. This is what dreams are made of. Unfortunately, her new music is not what dreams are made of, and I would like to read you guys some lyrics. So, It starts fine in the chorus. I'm going to try and do this as a dramatic reading. I only want the beginning. I don't want the end. Want the part where you see when you say, God damn. Back of the dive bar. Giving you head. Then sneak home late.
I did not expect
Wake up
that
your
one.
roommates. The butterflies from holding your hand before we swept us under the bed and we became practically roommates. I'm touching myself by the front door, but you don't even look my way no more.
Fair.
I
Strong.
don't-
Hang on,
Strong.
is this, just to confirm, this is Hilary Duff,
Yes.
mother of 4, 38.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
At least
Thank
she's
you
singing
for
about. At least she's singing about things that teenage James would have loved.
Honestly, this is pedo bait songs. This is for 12-year-old boys. It's like Taylor Swift meets Sabrina Carpenter with zero metaphors, and just like, yeah, my fanny's out.
Yeah.
All right, Hillary.
Yeah. They love it when you make references. I'll just say I give head in bars. Yeah. Cool, I'll
Her kids have to go to school, and she's just released this song, and she's already the hot mum.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'll put it this way. I'll put it this way to you. Either her kids have it this way, or it's Victoria Beckham. Do you want to be bump and grinded or head in bar?
Head in bar song, Alex.
great
Head in
line.
bar song. Head in bar song.
That's a great line. I
I hope Hilary Duff
touch-
doesn't want to commit illegal acts.
I also wanted to touch on, something that me and Alex spoke about quite a lot last week was the fact that we've had the Traitors final, and I absolutely loved it. There were moments during the end game of Traitors when Stephen and Rachel revealed who they were voting for, and I cheered like I'd seen Harry Wilson score another screamer for Fulham.
Yeah, I did. When we were going, as soon as they voted off Faraz, I was like, they've won, man. But you see, this is where I would have fallen apart now, because if I was I would have had the smuggest face in the world while I wrote down Jack's name, just staring at him, just being like, "You're cooked, boy. You are done."
I love how Stephen, for that last voting round of Jack, knew he was on an entertainment show and was like refusing to look Rachel in the eye, essentially like knowing that this will be edited together to make us think that he's voted for Rachel. But then as soon as he says the words, for reasons that will become clear very soon, I was like, yes, he's voted for Jack. Stephen and Rachel, come on.
I did not get that at all. When he said for reasons that will become clear, I want to be faithful, I was like, oh, he could get. There was a tiny part of my mind that was like, he could get rid of her and take the whole lot.
Yeah, but I also think that Stephen knows potentially that the whole nation would have hated him.
No, I think he's just smart enough to know that you don't piss off a Northern Irish woman.
Because I've only started to watch Uncloaked this year. I didn't watch Uncloaked when I was watching the celebrity version. And we've watched a few episodes of Uncloaked here and there. And they always get on former people who've been on the show to be on that. And I've also started seeing former people from the Traitors on various entertainment shows across TV. Not just talking about the Traitors, just talking about generic other things that TV shows talk about, right? So I think there is a trend of obviously parlaying being on Traitors into a media career. So I think I'm not sure. I can't attest this. I don't know if Stephen's going to want to try and his hand at a media career afterwards, but he probably knew that in terms of like parlaying this into other things. So he's not a cybersecurity consultant who everyone hates because cybersecurity is bullshit sometimes. Yeah, I won't. I will split the money with Rachel, and try and parlay this into other things. Also,
yeah, that man's got this all over him.
I love him. I didn't care I didn't care what happened if Stephen took the money by himself or whatever. I just wanted him to win. I loved him so much. He was the only person who at one task, when a hand came up through the grave, went, "Is that poor production runner or assistant or whatever their actual job is? Are they okay?" Being buried alive, essentially, to just every so often go, "Bang! Here's money." I also loved the moment Jack found out that Stephen and Rachel were traitors. He was just like, "Wow, what?" And it's like, of course, he's got a shit reaction. He's just lost his chance at like 30 grand.
I loved Faraz's exit interview where he sat there going, he went, "It's probably what's his name? Just escaped me. What was it? You've just said his name like 500 times.
Jack.
It's probably Stephen." And then he went, "Or it's Stephen and Rachel. Fuck, it's Stephen and Rachel."
Yeah. And then as soon as he opened it, he just went, "Grandma's got me."
It was that realization where he goes from "it's Stephen," or "it's Stephen and Rachel." Fuck, it's Stephen and Rachel. It killed me.
The other thing we should sort of mention briefly is obviously this week the Oscar nominations have come out, and for a film and TV podcast not to mention the Oscar nominations as they come out is probably terrible. But we will get onto this more when our next trilogy after this Ancient History one will be Oscars. So we will touch on it more. However, the one thing I wanted to say about this week is the fact, obviously, Sinners has got the most amount of Oscar nominations ever with 16.
And the costume designer is the most Oscar-nominated costume black woman there's ever been, I believe, as well.
Yes. Thoroughly deserved. That Oscar nomination, I think, thoroughly deserved. Have either of you seen Sinners apart from me?
No, it's now on Sky, and I will be watching it within the next couple of weeks because I'm very excited.
Fine. Okay, great. My overall opinion of Sinners being the most Oscar-nominated film is kind of shit, to be honest. I don't think this film deserves that many Oscar nominations. I think it's a good film, do not get me wrong. This film, and you can quote me on this, I think this film will have no cultural impact in the long run in about 10, 15, 20 years' time. I don't think this film is as good as everyone makes it out to be. I think it came out at the right time with the fact that it's kind of an original idea for a film in a world where there is no original IP films out there. So it sort of, did that thing well. But it's not kind of an original IP film because it's completely based on From Dusk Till Dawn, which is a film from the 90s written by Robert Rodriguez. It's the same film without a doubt, minus the cool music scene in the middle of the film. That's it. That is my hot take on Sinners.
You just discovered postmodernism.
Yeah, but I hate the fact that
nothing is original.
No, I agree, nothing's original. But the point is, everyone says it's original, and it's not. It's a complete rip-off of From Dusk Till Dawn.
It's different, but
it's a complete rip-off of From Dusk Till Dawn. Like, go watch Sinners, and then go watch From Dusk Till Dawn if either of you haven't seen it, and you will see the same film. Anyway, that was my hot take on a podcast filled with them.
It's been talked about as being an homage to From Dusk Till Dawn.
It's the same fucking film. There is a fine line between homage and copy, and this is definitely on the copy.
It's tough with the Oscars this year, though, because I've just been having a quick glance at the nominees, and I got down to the best animated feature and seen that K-pop Demon Hunters is in there.
Mate, it's
Zootopia 2.
It's a lot of fun. It's so stupid. Songs are bangers, mate.
Right, as Alex and James both mentioned, that this week we do genuinely have a request. This comes from Toby, who says, "Hello, you three. This is your long-time Jersey listener, first-time caller. Highly enjoy the show and well done on keeping it up. Insert joke here. Anyway, I have a film suggestion for what I'd be interested in listening to you guys discuss. It could fit many series, as you'll see below. Cult classic, The Warriors, based on the ancient Greek army that fought for Cyrus the Younger in a failed coup that then had to flee home across enemy territory back to Greece. Then adapted into a New York gangs story on a similar theme by Saul Eunuch in 1965. This then turned into a in 1979, then turned into a 2005 Rockstar Games PS2 classic Brawler, where I first encountered the story, and then most recently in a 2024 adapted for stage and a gender-swapped musical by the omnipresent Lin-Manuel Miranda, and he says, I'm sure that Chandler has not seen it yet. So you could have it in a book to film, film to game, film to musical, cult classic, or classical, as in Ancient History series. Perhaps the latter to coincide with Nolan's Odyssey coming out in June next year. We're doing it now because who knows if this podcast will run till June. Could help balance out the more obvious choices of Troy, Gladiator 300. Anyway, in terms of the film, it's good, but in terms of history of the story, it's up there with the very best. But one I don't think many people know about. I'll stop ranting, but look forward to meeting you all someday. That's a good request. That has set the standard for requests we get in the future. So please, listeners, do send in your requests. Did that
really
bore you?
Deep into the Greek history. I didn't know he'd gone that far in.
Yeah. To be fair,
he's just included a line.
And to be fair to James, he is right. I assumed mythological because in his request he does say things about Troy, Gladiator, and 300, which again, 300 kind of myth, kind of ancient history. There, it is the kind of same with Troy. With Troy, where there are elements of truth, but some things are exaggerated and they become sort of myth.
Troy was
and
generally believed to be
Gladiator is obviously like a made up story.
The Trojan horse and Troy was believed to be basically a myth and from stories for a long time until they think they found Troy, which is actually quite recent. This is a true story. Obviously not the version we're watching. Very much not true. But it's based upon a true Greek story.
There might be some really stylish gangs roaming New York in little leather vests. We don't know.
The village people might be going around beating people up all the time as well. I don't know.
That is my dream. Anyway, this synopsis comes from Letterboxd, which I think is quite a good one for this one. It says, "These are the armies of the night. They are 100,000 strong. They outnumber the cops 5-1. They could run New York City. Tonight, they're all out to get the Warriors." Prominent gang leader Cyrus calls a meeting of New York's gangs to set aside their turf wars and take over the city. At the meeting, a rival leader kills Cyrus, but a Coney Island gang called the Warriors is wrongly blamed for Cyrus's death. Before you know it, the cops and every gang member in town is hot on the Warriors' trail, and they must make it back to Coney Island alive. This film is rated a 3.8 on Letterboxd, a 7.5 on IMDb. Thank you. And 88% on the popcorn meter and an 88% on the tomato meter. So, boys, what did you first thoughts when you started watching this film?
I think most of those ratings must have come pre-2010. I'm going to say, yeah, it doesn't hold up well by our modern belief system on how we treat women and the language we use, but a very gritty and enjoyable film, I would say.
Yeah, my first thought when watching the film was, I don't think this is myth. And what the hell am I watching? I don't see... Where's Zeus? What's going on? There's just a bunch of guys in cowboy vests with no tops on in New York. I don't know what time of year it is. New York gets cold. And it had been raining because everything's wet in the entire film. So it might have been cold. And they're just running around with their tops off. They're going to catch a cold.
I'm telling you, it's summer. It's summer by how they're dressed. It
has to be.
Heat of summer. My God, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was enjoyable. My first thoughts were it's a very pretty film in how it's shot. And I also thought it opened a little bit like Mulholland Drive with the score and the titles, which also confused me about what I was about to watch as well. But yeah, good. I also very much enjoyed you reading the synopsis, Chandler, and censoring yourself for a word. Do you want to read out the word, what it originally was?
What on the what in real time?
Yeah.
The word was gangbanger, and I was like, I ain't saying that.
I was reading it along with you, and I was like, oh, nice, Chandler, on the fly.
I very much had similar reactions to you when I turned the film on. My literal first note on my watch along notes is, what the fuck is going on? Why are the gangs so stupidly dressed?
I also didn't understand why a gang member goes, we are sending an emissary. I was like, when has a gang member ever said, when has anyone beyond, I don't know, outside of politics beyond 1910 said the word emissary?
I think you have to look at US New York gangland, where there is like emissaries,
peace talks and war talks. Yeah. Sit downs and things like to keep the peace. I enjoyed the opening. I enjoyed the score. I enjoyed the sense of genuinely not really having any idea what was going on until you get like 10 minutes in and you're actually at the big meeting and Cyrus starts talking. I thought the person who played Cyrus and the way he was talking and was really like really well done. I enjoy the like tension that first like 10 minutes builds up to of this big meeting, and you see all these gangs stupidly dressed going into the Bronx. The one point you brought up was like it's beautifully shot and it's like well lit and everything, but you actually mentioned that they all the streets are wet. That was a decision by the director of photography. It was like, you have to make it rain at some point, because I think in terms of our budget to make things well lit and reflect and you have all these cool lighting shots while the fights are going on, it needed to be wet to like make a reasonable thing for those sort of lighting decisions.
The stylized look of it is really what I took away from the film the most. Because one thing I find whenever we watch these cult classics from the 70s and in the past is they are often really beautifully done. And I think having this, I don't know how to describe it, but it almost is quite dystopian. And I always felt almost futuristic in ways. I thought the score and the look really invoked a futuristic dystopian city, even though there's nothing futuristic in the movie at all. But that's the kind of vibe I got, and I really think that helped accentuate the kind of grit of it all, while you've got this weird dichotomy of that with these guys in silly outfits running around the streets. But they had to make, for me, every shot count and have everything look so beautiful, because essentially this is running simulator. Come experience running with me. They have run about a half marathon across New York to get back to Coney Island in this film. So they have to make everywhere look lovely.
I agree with what you're saying in it looking beautiful in an urban environment. There are a lot of shots where you can capture the grit and the real world feel of everything. There's a lot of good scenes just on the street that feels like you're on the street. It doesn't really feel very movie-ish, which I guess, have we watched many films around 1979? How often was that happening where they're shooting on the street and not in a studio?
And they had. Did you read about the trouble they had? Sorry.
Yeah. So these. No. I was just going to come up with what you were saying. Like this was filmed late at night, like 8 p.m. to 7 a.m. Every night, essentially over the course of, I can't remember how long the production was, but because as what I wanted to say to what James was saying is that we have to remember this film comes out with the backdrop of what 1970s New York was actually kind of like, in the fact that it was a hellhole essentially. Like
New York was
genuinely
bankrupt as a city. It was filled with poverty and gang. They weren't dressed as cowboys and mimes and baseball players, but there were gangs, and they actually struggled to film in places because of real life gangs.
It was 1970s New York, like, was quite a dangerous place to be and to live and to go out and everything, because, as James says, there was just so many gangs around and so much violence. So we have to remember this film is set with that backdrop. And yeah, they had troubles on production because gangs would come up to them, try and mess with their equipment. They would have to pay gang members to like protect them. They would also have to pay to not steal their shit and then be in the movie, which would then also cause rival gangs to go, they're in the movie, why aren't we? And then cause problems with the production.
There's lots of framing and the shots in this film where New York is shown to be basically empty, which it circumvents reality of what we know today hugely, because it's the city that never sleeps. There's people everywhere. Whereas it's one of those times where we've watched a film and then learning about the historical context behind it, and when it's being shot, I am more impressed with the film itself. And this is another instance of it. It's once you know the time it was set, New York having empty streets and being dangerous and having empty subway lines is completely believable. And the idea of not being able to go to certain streets and certain areas is true of gangs in any big city around the world at the height of their kind of activity. And this film also is kind of just before the early days of hip-hop culture as well. And then some of the outfits and look and styles of some of the characters in The Warriors influence certain hip-hop groups, and they're talking about areas that they show on the map, and Flatbush comes up at one point as well. The influences and the time is really kind of captured really nicely in this kind of odd film with Greek inspiration. The best thing I read is though that you couldn't set Sex in the City in the 70s, and you couldn't set this now in New York.
No, you couldn't set this now. I also just wanted to come back to one point you said of like the film feels like it's in a dystopian future. Is that there were like some of the before they've decided on their marketing that was going to be kind of the marketing, is that this is what New York will be like in a few years, essentially. Yeah. So yes, it's still set in 1970s New York, but it's set in the way of 1970s New York, like still going down that sort of road of being not a very nice place to live at all, essentially. Like when I went to New York a couple of years ago, I was there for like 3 weeks, you know, I felt for the most part pretty safe. There were times in certain places at night where you know, places have reputations and you don't feel that safe. I was always very scared of getting pickpocketed and, you know, my phone being nicked. So that didn't come out very, very, very much when I was walking around like Times Square and shit. But that's kind of like being in any big city. Like you walk around London and you're like, someone on a bike's probably going to come to the phone, so I'm going to keep it in my pocket for the most part. So, you know, that's just the thing of living in a big city. But yeah, the film,
which is absolutely over-egged as an issue, like in the press,
anyway,
when actually, if you're not involved, it's not going to happen. But yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. So, but I do get the feeling. I thought it was set in a dystopian future as I was watching it until I sort of looked up and read. But I get I quite like there are a few certain scenes when the gang members interact with like generic members of the public. Yeah. Like they go to a sweet shop and they steal some sweets, or they run into randomers on the tube line on the subway. Sorry, and I found that scene very, very funny when they ran into people dressed in disco attire and they're dressed in their open vests. Well, and I'm like, there is some real dichotomy going on there for those two types of nights.
On the tube is great though, because that is exactly where you would see all walks of life meet on the tube. So it was kind of very accurate in that way. Because something I mentioned off air, and I think it's why it came into my mind, is that the look of this really reminds me of, again, another cult classic which is an anime called Akira, which is a dystopian future thing. Really, really, really good. Cowboy Bebop as well. Just really,
Not just
really
make-up
evokes the
films.
feeling of that.
Not just make up films. So one thing we did want to talk about is how films become cult classics, as it were, and I think stylization is massive towards films becoming cult classics. Because if this had been shot as like a sort of normal action thriller, like, you know, normal fight scenes, normal type of cinematography, it's light outside, all that type of things, then this wouldn't have become a cult classic. I think stylization and stylized fight scenes are massive towards when a film doesn't do that well on release and is like critically bombed essentially at time of release. Stylization helps those types of films become cult classics later down the line.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that, because I think if you shot this during the day, you just end up with a really weird meeting of worlds where they're all dressed in their little leather vests, and normal people are going about their day being like, "What are you guys wearing?" And it sort of becomes a bit of a mob movie where they're like, "We're just gonna go there and we're trying to get back to Coney Island
Coney
to
Island.
whack the dude." Or they're saying that we
They're
whacked
framed
the dude,
for
so we
killing
gotta
a
get
guy
back.
that wants to bring all the gangs
Yeah.
together because they could overthrow the police, the mafia, and crime syndicates,
Yeah.
etc., and run the city.
It essentially becomes Goodfellas if you shoot it during the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, fair. I think it's also, Chandler, a reason it becomes a cult classic is the best films, no matter what, the best media, no matter what, are a pastiche of reality and evoke what the general populace is going through at the time. I think that's why, I mean, we've talked about loads, but why I'm enjoying Fallout Season 2 at the moment is because it's basically evoking real life actions of corporations taking over countries, essentially, and being the people that control everything. It's the same here.
I knew he was going to talk about
It's-
billionaires.
I wondered what way he was going to go with that, but I think he's gone the right way there.
But this film is a pastiche of 1970s New York,
Mm.
and also it is basically a musical without the songs.
So
Oh, it's
that's
totally,
really funny.
totally.
So that's really funny you say that, because the screenwriter for this, when he's discovered the book and the ancient history story it's based on, basically took that inspiration because he actually didn't like how West Side Story showed New York gang life essentially, and wanted to make a film that sort of showed a more realistic version of New York gang life. My only sort of comment to that is the weirdest thing in this film compared to New York gang life is the fact that even after they sort of run away after the meeting where no one's supposed to be holding weapons, no one still comes at the Warriors with a gun until the Lizzie gang do it. They're the only people who try and shoot at the Warriors. They're terrible shots and don't hit any of them. But why do the police not have guns? Why does no one else have a gun to try and shoot the Warriors?
Because that's when I was like, this clearly isn't real because the police don't have guns. They're just running after them.
Or it's not set right now.
Yeah, if this was modern day, killed and Trump would be saying, "Well, they shouldn't have ran. They shouldn't have ran."
Oh my god!
What did you guys think of the action scenes? Because I think again they're limited to the time and the budget. Because remember, this is a low budget film.
Yeah.
I think they spent all of their money on the fight scene near the end in the bathroom, which was a cool fight scene.
Yeah,
Don't get me wrong. However, it sort of makes all the other fight scenes look a little bit pony.
I think it's fine for the late 70s, early 80s. Limited by the time, by the budget. But
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, apart from the gun fight that isn't really a gun fight, there's not too much that's totally unbelievable. It's pretty unbelievable that a professional gang have got the shot of stormtroopers.
I would say that I'm not surprised it took up until the Lizzies that they were shot at, because it's the only time I believe anyone was on their turf in one of their buildings and had the time to be there. They kind of rescue that girl that Swan, the leader of the gang of the Warriors, or this section of the Warriors, starts to have a little relationship with, from who she leaves the orphans. They were kind of outside, just back on the turf. Everyone's trying to catch the Warriors from Cyrus being killed at that meeting. So it doesn't not make sense. The police coming at them with batons, I think, is probably right for the time. Don't quote me. Not looked into that specifically on police action in New York in the 1970s. So that's fine. So yeah, I do think it makes sense. And then by the end of the film, people have had their time to get weapons, etc. The fight scenes, again, we watched Karate Kid, and I thought the fighting in that was absolutely awful, considering it's a film about a karate kid. And I would say they're better than that film, and they hit harder. I think it does help that there's a lot more people to worry about. The choreography was really good, and the camera work was really good. But I do find in these older films that I think it's purely sound effects half the time, is that hits don't feel like they hit. And I think you have to go back to, say, when we watched Enter the Dragon, things actually hit. So then there's a stylistic thing, but then that film had no plot, and then it's just a difference between Western and Eastern cinema.
Yeah, I think you can compare it to Enter the Dragon. I think comparing it to The Karate Kid is a bit tough, considering this film was banned in France for being too violent.
But there are definitely bits when they throw around the baseball bat, and you're like, they definitely didn't hit each other.
Yeah, there are definitely a couple of that. It did feel a little bit like WWE at points in that regard.
But again, that's because we're holding it to modern standards, where we're watching something. We expect someone, at least in the shot we're watching, without a cut, to take a baseball bat to the face, and we see their jaw explode. This is late 70s, early 80s.
I will say, after seeing Anthony Joshua rock Jake Paul's jaw, no film's jaw rocking will ever be as believable.
On other points that make films cult classics, like obviously this film did do well in its opening weekend compared to its budget. However, as we go back to that, like because of the violence for the time, the marketing basically just stopped for the film and stopped trying to get people to go out and watch it. And also there were as we say, because of gang problems, there were problems at screenings of the film, which obviously put people off going to see it. So, and it was just, critics at the time just fucking hated the film. They were like, this is a terrible film. However, when it got reevaluated by critics 29, they were like, no, it's an enjoyable film. And, that sort of a cult classic in the terms of when it sort of re-entered the zeitgeist after getting accredited by critics. I don't know the right phrase for that, to be honest.
I drew a very minor comparison when I read that I think it's 3 people died to do with this film, like either on their way to or back from a viewing of this. Jeez. And it was related to the film. I sort of equated that to when that guy shut up a theatre for The Dark Knight. I was like, Dark Knight's pretty cool.
I forgot about that,
Wow.
Dark Knight's pretty cool. When you're like, the Joker is so twisted that this guy took his favourite AK down to the local theatre. That combines into it being, wow, that's a bit... I think that's how you get a cult following, is just by fucking psychopaths.
What are you saying? Are you saying because the actions of psychopaths cause films to be cult, or are you saying psychopaths only like cult classics?
No, bit of column A, bit of column B. I think having a psychopath enjoy your film is a huge money maker. I think if more psychopaths had gone to watch Wallace and Gromit and the Curse of the Were-Rabbit, we'd be talking about that right now.
I hope, Alex. I'm in the off chance one of our listeners does marketing for movies. I really hope they don't, and I really hope they don't listen to you, because as I talked about corporations having power, I don't need them trying to get on an Oscar run by getting someone to go and American a cinema.
But again, films like Psycho, they were so scared that it would generate more knife murders when there was probably loads happening anyway. That they no one should go watch this film in case you decide to murder your wife. People are going to murder their wives. O.J. Simpson was a normal man before he saw Psycho.
Our first O.J. reference of the year. He's done it.
Jesus Christ.
He's back. He's
Pause
back.
him out.
I am gonna end this segment by just saying, as James said, if anyone works in marketing, instead of marketing films that go and kill people, please don't do that. Can you come and help us market our podcast?
Yeah. Do that, dudes. If you do it pro bono,
we'd love it.
If you're a pro bono marketer,
murdered someone because they listened to this. Can you imagine? Well, I mean, the way that James speaks, we could have a Luigi Mangione kind of situation.
I reckon that Toby, the person who requested this movie, is going, they're barely talking about the movie, I'm going to go murder them.
Ooh, can we radicalise Toby? Toby, if you want to be radicalised, please message us.
3 takes of stupidity at gmail.com.
Under the track of the next record, we'll have like just a whispers of us really, really low that you can't hear. Going, Toby, do it, Toby, do it. Come on, then, Toby, do it.
Right then, it's time for everyone's new favourite segment. We will not be doing this again. Gang or no gang? It's a simple game of categories. Is the name that I give the two boys a gang or not a gang that features in the film? There are 21 gangs that feature in the film that are named. There are loads of others that feature in other literature. I'm not including those, because I'll be honest with you, if you say one of them, fair play to you, but does it count?
I felt so confident before you said 21. I've said 3 of them in the episode.
I think I can name 5.
I think I can name 4.
Who gets to start, Alex?
He's going to read them, isn't he? But yeah.
James, pick a number.
4.
Oh, James starts. I wanted an even number, so James starts. So, just tell me.
It's like
gang
you don't want to make a
gang?
decision, right? And then even though you're still making the decision, you've done something in a way that it doesn't feel like you've made a decision yourself, so that you can make the decision.
No, I had made a decision in my head. I was like, if he gives me an even number, he can go first. If he gives me an odd number, Chandler will go first. But you have picked 4, which of course is Chandler, who has done many things with the numbers. He knows it's an even number. So James, it's first to 3. Your first gang is Staten Island Titans. Gang or no gang?
I don't know.
Quickfire, James.
Go gang.
He's going gang? Incorrect. It's no gang. I made that up.
I was gonna go no gang. I was like, he's not that creative.
Chandler.
Yeah.
The Savage Huns. Gang or no gang?
I'm going gang.
He's going gang. He's correct.
He's just gonna
Which one
alternate.
were they? What were they dressed like? What were they dressed like?
I haven't got that information for you. James.
Savage Honeys.
The Electric Eliminators. Gang or no gang?
It's no gang. It can't be a gang.
Wrong. It's a gang.
My
It's number 12 on the list.
What a terrible time.
Chandler.
Yeah.
The Long Island Iced Teas.
No, I'm gonna say that is a gang, just because it's quite funny, but it'd be hilarious if it is a gang.
It's not a gang. I made that up.
Ah, fuck's sake!
I'm not
James.
completely at the game. I'm not cooked yet.
The Savage Huns.
You've just done that one.
You've done that one.
Fuck. The Satan's Mothers.
Gang?
Gang or no gang? Gang?
Can't be a gang. No, gang. Gang.
1-1. Chandler. Queens, kings.
No gang.
It is correct. It's no gang. 2-1 chance. Shit.
Come on.
James.
These are awful.
The mongrels.
I want to say no, but given some of the other language used in this film, and it is in the 70s, I'm going to say gang.
I think it is a gang.
You are correct. It is a gang. However, in the film, they were the gang that the production company paid to provide security.
So gang. So counts.
So a gang, but they're not in the film.
But it counts. You didn't specify they had to be in the film. You did. No, you said other media. It counts.
I did.
No, give him the point. Give him the point.
Okay, 2-2. 2-2.
Thank you, because that's some
Chandler.
roundabout bullshit if you don't give me the point there.
The gladiators.
No gang.
Incorrect. That is a gang.
Oh, fuck's sake.
James. The orphans.
It's gang.
Correct. James wins.
Ah.
Round of applause. Round of applause. Please.
Alex definitely just was like, I want to end the game now.
Yeah.
Yes, it
What
was.
do I
It
win?
was. It was. The next one was going to be the Warriors.
The only other ones I can remember are the Lizzies, which are the
Lizzies,
female
Mm-hmm.
gang, maybe.
No, they're
Sort
just
of,
women,
yeah.
Chandler. They're just women.
They're just women.
I don't think they're
Alright.
prostitutes.
It is 1970s again. It is 1970s New York. So who?
Just a gang.
And the Gramercy Riffs, the main gang that Cyrus led, essentially.
Yes.
And
I'm interested that you didn't mention the baseball furies.
Oh yeah, the baseball furies.
The
And who are
Rogues
the ones
as
on
well?
the rollerblades? Who are the one on the rollerblades?
They are. Are the Boyle Avenue Runners? No, that's not right. The Moon Runners. There was one that I made up that was the Bay Ridge Rollers, which I really wanted to say because it sounds
you
like
should've said-
sounds like a football team.
Got used.
That sounds like a
I
Sunday
think
League
you
team.
should have said. I think you should have said the Bay City Rollers. That would have been funny.
I also had the Hog Ties, the Manhattan Monkeys, the Hip Dogs, Pianos,
The Manhattan
DCs,
Monkeys.
Rugrats. I thought that was clever.
The Rogues were the ones that shot Cyrus, right? The guy from the Rogues. Yeah. Fair.
So Toby also sent a question with his request, and he asks, shit, let me get it up again. Stand by. He asks,
Chandler, you will cut a bit
here. What would a 2026 remake of this story look like?
It'd be terrible. It'd be starring Jaden Smith. It just wouldn't be enjoyable for anyone, I don't think. I also think it would be made much more camp than it currently is, which is it's a big ask, but it's doable.
I
think.
go on, James.
No, I was just going to say, I think it would have to be somewhere in the world where gang crime is still seriously prevalent. Because in the general Western world, gang crime that we attribute to big cities, such as in the 70s in New York, even in the 2000s London, I think maybe you could do a London one. You do a London one with kind of different boroughs in the north or south, etc. But it has to be a country where gang crime is still decently publicly prevalent in a way.
I definitely think that you could still do this somewhere in America. I'm sure that
Chicago, maybe.
I also think 3 middle class-ish guys from London who are, 2 from London. Well, 1 from London, 1 from Southampton, and 1 from the north, because the north doesn't get a name. I probably should bleep those out places, but anyway.
Yeah.
I think, we're not necessarily involved.
Finds me in the north.
Yeah, I don't think we're necessarily involved in that type of world or crime in general, I would like to think, even though I'm the one going to court tomorrow morning. That, it would be as noticeable for us what it's like sometimes, because there is still gang crime
in
cities,
Europe,
in the country.
In Europe, the highest amount of gang crime, the highest rates of kind of local gang crime is Greece and the Netherlands, but this is kind of being listed down as local violence, crime or vandalism, and that's being tagged as gang crime, so I don't know how relevant it is, but apparently in Haiti and countries like Congo or Colombia, I think
I was going to say Colombia,
or Brazil, South America, you go to countries where gangs still have such prevalent control on things.
I think
maybe odd to have them dressed up as mimes. I imagine. I don't know if you could do the goofy side of it so much.
However,
they managed it. They managed it here. So
However, we do have to remember that this film is based on a history story. So it's the film itself is based on people being very far away from home, violent land essentially. That like the actual ancient history story that's based on is Cyrus the Younger wanted to take over Persia with his Greek army, his 100,000 strong Greek, and they go into Persian land. Cyrus gets killed, and then they have to make it back to the coast essentially of the Greek Empire at the time, I think, before they all get killed by the Persians essentially.
It's a direct adaptation.
By the way, I just want to say, it being that the Greek army has to get back to the coastline to be safe is why they pick Coney Island as their home, their turf, because it resonates. So when they see the sun come up, is that they're on the coastline and they're looking out to the horizon. It's that thing in the story of their home once they reach the horizon, essentially, in the coastline. So that's I really like that parallel between the old ancient history story and this film. So I think in terms of like an army going somewhere, failing in their attempt to coup somewhere, and then having to come back, that is quite a generic story that definitely could be remade in 2026. This film, on the other hand, where it is based around gang crime, again, still think it could be made in 2026. However, it would have to be, I still think it could be done, but very stylistic in the way it is in this film now. A bit less of, well, again, it's gang crime, so I don't necessarily feel like the type of language that is used in this film is out of place, because that's what terrible people say, and fundamentally these are members of gangs who are probably not very nice people, and
there's one character in it that is excessively homophobic that none of the other characters in his gang really care for him much.
He's also very misogynistic. The character of Ajax, who's
literally tries
just
to
obsessed with
rape
raping
an undercover
anything.
police officer.
Gets arrested,
and also
spoilers.
Gets arrested. But also that scene's quite. So I was going to say that this film could definitely be made again, but it would have to be. Whereas this one is kind of a voice for its time. You'd never know it was based upon that Greek story. There's nothing in it that makes me think, oh yeah, okay, I can see the inspiration. It could just easily be a gang story where the gang has to get across New York back to their turf. Fine, done, cool, solid plot. And I was actually going to say some of it's quite goofy, but it's goofy yet grim. And I do imagine that the outfits are one, so you can, a bit like a football match, you could tell who's who in group shots, especially with the technology of the time. But you also, it's quite grim. And I think you can, when it's kind of with a slight tinted lens of goofiness at points, maybe a little easier to stomach. But this guy's dropping around homophobic slurs all the time, and it is quite horrific. And as we say,
it's jarring for us.
It's jarring to this time, and I'm sure it's jarring then as well. But obviously, different time. Probably lots of people were saying it, and it's not long before the AIDS pandemic when homophobia was massively on the rise. But also, when he tries to rape that police officer, she's undercover and actually flirting with him. He doesn't have to do that. He's just horrible. And I think that is a scene that wakes you up to be like, these are gang members. They are perpetrating crime.
I did think for a second you're about to be an apologist for him.
No,
she does come on to him. She's being like,
she comes on to him, and he's like, "I'm still gonna rape you." He's like, "What? You don't need to." It's really horrific, and it reminds you that this is a grim setting in more than location and stylistic look, and it is a grim film based upon the people you're dealing with.
I totally agree. I also think the one thing that we've not mentioned in this film, in this record, that would actually be quite cool in a 2026 remake is, remember in the film how they base getting the word out that it was the warriors who killed Cyrus. Everyone needs to attack them. It's based around like a radio show, and the presenter is
like
playing
a pirate
songs.
radio.
Yeah. I can't believe we've not mentioned it yet, but I actually loved that framing. I really enjoyed those sort of cutaway scenes. I love the framing of her shot. You don't see her face,
the
you
mouth
just see
and
her
the
mouth
microphone.
On the mic. I thought that was a beautiful thing to shoot.
So simple, because that's radio. Everything's got video now, but radio is still relatively faceless. So I think you're right. Actually, I think it is really nicely done.
I think an updated version of that and songs, I think that would be very, very cool in a stylistic way for a 2026
That'd be some
remake.
dude on a Twitch stream with a purple hoodie and an anime plushie behind him.
Oh, that's James.
I don't own a purple hoodie at the moment, but maybe I can.
Right then, it's takes time, and being a gentleman. If this film has taught me anything, it's to be a gentleman and put women first. I will go first. So many values to take from this. I cannot get away from that side of this film. I can't get away from it's not over the top acting, but it's acting with your face is the only way I can put it. With his whole body. I don't know who the main guy is, but he does Superman pose quite a lot. I can't get away from that. I also can't get away from
Michael
the terrible
Beck.
conduct of... Thank you. He's a pretty decent actor as well. I can't get away from the terrible conduct of the NYPD for not actually shooting any of them. The horrendous level of...
by the way, I did look it up. They had guns in the 1970s.
Yeah, they've always had guns.
The police aren't meant to shoot first, boys. What's happened to them? What has the news done to you?
Exactly. The fact that they've fallen so far.
One of them throws a guy One of them throws a guy on the tracks in front of a subway car.
A good officer of the law, and it's probably the man.
Oh my god!
That was actually Zoran Mandami's first job.
James has got up and walked away. Come on, Alex, carry on.
We can't
the horrendous level of misogyny and hope. Sorry, James interrupted. I was making a genuinely heartfelt, not apology, but I didn't do any of these things. The NYPD are terrible people. Anyway, the horrendous level of misogyny and homophobia throughout it, pretty much, that's what's going to hold it in 1979. That's probably why we'll leave that version there. Maybe we can make a new one, but it's a very good snapshot of the late 70s with that view of the attitudes, the fashion. We'll leave that there. We definitely don't want that back. However, there is one scene that really marks this film down for me, and it happens in so many Hollywood, particularly of this era. It's a scene near the start of the film where there's a bus that manages to get outrun by people just running.
Oh my god, yes.
Yeah, you're so
And they
right.
chose to run in the middle of the road. It's the most aesthetic over function scene in the entire film, or one I've ever seen.
And that's what's going to hold us back for me. Chandler, you go.
James,
James, you go.
Yeah, I'm really happy Alex brought that scene up, actually, because, yeah, it is... I was going to say, if you are a filmmaker and you want to learn how to shoot at night, watch this film, because it is exceptionally done. It looks gorgeous. It's gritty. You really get a feel of the setting they are in. And it contrasts with the silly outfits. But you don't have to do that as a filmmaker. You can be creative yourself. But honestly, take notes on how they shoot this film at night. That's brilliant. That scene, yeah, nuts. Honestly, why'd they run in the middle of the road? They did not have to run in the middle of the road. They could have run at the side. But it made for a fantastic shot. And the only reason I could think that bus could not go faster than a human's average running pace was because it did have about 65 people on it.
Physics.
But I'm still really reaching. Overall, I really enjoyed this film. I completely agree with Alex about some of the language used and some of the actions taken. It does hold it back in its time. However, I think it also is a nice allegory to today. At times, I thought a lot of the gang members were massive dorks, like really dorky. That's not how you would personify a gang member. But I wrote down this kind of faux masculinity that was on show with all these blokes trying to put on bravado to impress or fight against other blokes. It's just really like fake how to be a man in a way, and I really did think that aligns with, unfortunately, some of the boys are going to hate me for relating it to anything like this in real life, but the people like Andrew Tate who have a hold on young men of what it is to believe to be a man. When actually a lot of the gang members were just so wet. I don't think with our theme that is kind of pending, but relating to ancient stories and you don't know it. Fair enough, they've taken that story, they've put it in modern day, and they haven't really done much more. If you didn't know that and you didn't read up on that, you would never know. If you didn't listen to this podcast and have us tell you, you would never know. So I didn't feel it was very relevant. So that's why when you ask us, or we try and tell you what film we're doing next week, we don't know. That's for sure. It also is running experience. Just running. And we completely brushed over the fact that I found really funny is one gang member of the Warriors gets thrown in front of a moving subway and dies and is never talked about again. And what's really funny is he was never talked about again because the actor in real life had scheduling conflicts and was basically fired. And in the script originally, he was just arrested. But then they were like, nah, let's kill him off.
Apparently he also wasn't very good to work with.
Really creative on the fly there. But I can see exactly why it's a cult classic. I can see why it struggled for audiences and critics at the time, because it was almost like the fears people had of the real world, of their cities. But yeah, I think it was a good film. Some of the acting is atrocious. It's atrocious. Like, the deadpan stares and I don't know which of you guys said superhero poses, but I completely agree. And the lead guy has one facial expression during the entire film. It's like the Gen Z stare back in 1979. Ridiculous. But honestly, it's really worth a watch. And I recommend anyone to just do that little bit of reading outside of the film because it is fascinating piece of not so distant history, even though it's about nearly 50 years ago.
I would tend to agree that some of the acting is pretty bad. However, I would also say that in most cult classics, some of the acting is pretty damn bad. I think I have a slightly different take on the sort of the misogyny, the sexual assault behavior, the the type of language that is used than you two. Fair.
You're a massive misogynist.
100%. As jarring as it is to hear and see, I also think that you have to remember two things when you watch these. Is that it's of its time, that is what people would say to each other, so you have to remember that it came out then. I also
I
think
think
that
some people would say it to each other. We should still say that at this time, misogyny was still probably not okay, and rape was still frowned upon in 1979.
Yeah.
It's not like
I'm not saying. I'm not saying. No. But I'm not saying not that. I'm not saying that.
I think it's important for us to say that, given how we're talking.
No. But my next point is the fact that we have to remember that these are gang members. They're not supposed to be the moral light for the most part. They're not supposed. You're not supposed to. In this film, you're not supposed to agree with their behaviors and personalities because they are inherently not very good people. Which is why this is a bigger point on terms of like film and TV shows in general of like, why do we laugh at certain people? Why do we make TV shows with not 100% moral characters? It's like, because that's just boring things to watch. If everyone's 100% moral, what's the point in watching something? You'll never learn anything. You'll never enjoy watching something. It'll just be dull because everyone will do the right thing all the fucking time. No conflict. So that's my generic sort of, it's not a disagreement. It's just a slight reframing of what you guys were saying. However, in terms of the film, the two words I sort of wrote down in my general thoughts was it's enjoyable weirdness. I enjoyed the stylized version of New York City. I like the stylized version of the fighting for the most part. I enjoyed the big fight set piece near the end of the film. So going into the film knowing it's based on an ancient history story, myth story, whatever the fuck you want to say, the Anabasis story that it's based on, I really hope I pronounced that correct, is the fact that you can see it's based on an ancient myth type of story. So like if you refer to a more generic one that everyone knows, like the Odyssey, tracking Odysseus' journey back to the name of the Greek islands escaped me. But it's sort of like you have this trial, then you have this trial, then you have this problem, then you have this trial, and you have to overcome them individually for different ways. So like he encounters Calypso, and then the Cyclops, and then the Sirens and whatever. It's that basically. Gamey. Each gang, in a sense, is a different way to resolve a problem. It's a different problem presented to them. The orphans, they're a lower gang, so we must attack this problem in a different way. The Baseball Furies, they are a gang who are attacking us straight away. We have to fight back because we cannot outrun them. The rollerblade gang that they meet in the subway station, they've cornered us. How do we get by this? It's a different police. Way to
we can only run.
The police. I have to make a deal with these people so I can get away from them. It's very much once you know that it's based on ancient history story, you can definitely tell it's based on those types of ancient history stories, mythological stories, because it is set out in that way, very much so, of the ones that are quite famous. So I enjoyed that fact. I just enjoyed the film as a whole. It's it's gripping, it's well paced. The acting is, yes, questionable, but overall, I did enjoy this film. And I'm glad Toby requested it for us. And I really, really hope that more of you send your requests in.
Can I ask you guys a question before we sign out? I'll take that as a yes. In retrospect to our discussion and how we've re-clarified that it's quite easy to forget when you watch a film like this that the gangs and such people are bad people. And etc. Luther of the Rogues is the antagonist, but is he technically the good guy for stopping 60,000 gang members from uniting to take over the city from law enforcement, from crime syndicates, from local communities, from anything?
He is the for the Warriors come out to play. That's it. That's the only reason why he's the hero of the film.
But he says it in such a masculine, manly tone.
I think you should end the podcast hard cut on Warriors come out to play.
No, we have a format here, James. So Alex, lead us out.
Right then, you have all dug it, boys and girls, and we're so proud of you. You really have dug it. As we stand on our little cherry lift, we're very proud of you. Join us next time for the second part of the Ancient History Trilogy, which will be a film. It's goodbye from James.
Yeah, theme pending. Goodbye.
It's goodbye from Chandler.
I'm going out to play now.
Very nice. And it's goodbye from me. And I would like to remind everyone that for a year this film was banned in France. So please, if everyone could buy a copy and take it to France and just generally leave it around the place, that would be great. Goodbye.
Please don't forget to rate and review the podcast on your platform of choice. It really helps us grow. Make sure to follow us on our socials and our individual Letterboxd accounts. The links can be found in the description or at www.hopwith2ps.bio/3takes or search for 3 Takes of Stupidity on most platforms. We're most active on TikTok, Instagram and YouTube. Please send us your film and trilogy suggestions to our Hop page on social media, or you can email us at 3takesofstupidity@gmail.com. Thank you and hope to have you back.